not in control of the ball, they're going to be difficult to beat. But it does show a real intent that they come to Ibrox and they're not going to fear it. They're coming with a purpose to go and get 3 points, and they've done that a lot this season. Even though they'll maybe set up differently, they're always trying to get the 3 points.
Is that the kind of lineup you expected them to play today?
Yeah, without doubt. I mean, the league's won, the job's done, so they can come to Ibrox now and play with a freedom. You look at the lineup. Jamie Walker and Sam Nicholson, two players that will go and have a go at people. They're going with the two strikers. So I fully expect Hearts to have a right go today. And you looking at them on paper, you'd fancy them to win.
Gary made a great point earlier. I mean, he was talking about the atmosphere around the place and the guys trying things out and things coming off. That makes a huge difference to places when there's a good atmosphere somewhere. It means that the confidence is high. It means that they get the freedom to go and do what they want to do. And when it's the opposite of that, we've seen it at Rangers, it's very difficult to get yourself out of that.
And that is an atmosphere, of course, that you helped build last season. No doubt Hibs fans might be watching on today and looking for Hearts to do them some favours. Hearts still play Rangers twice, but Hibs are stumbling right now, aren't they, Gary? Yesterday, this is home against Queen of the South, and they lost 1-0. Mark Durnan with the goal, and all of a sudden you're starting to wonder, and the race for the playoffs is changing.
Yeah, well, you see a lot, this time of the year. It's the business end of the table. All the games are very meaningful. And, Hibs are a big club, high expectations. James Fowler's done a guy I know well, done a great job at Queen of the South, and that's a fantastic result for them.
Queen of the South are fighting as well, of course. They're trying to get that last playoff place. Falkirk in the battle. Queen of the South Rangers on Thursday. We've got that game live, but so many teams still in it.
Well, that's what makes the playoffs so exciting, that there's all these stories to talk about. Queen of the South, Falkirk, Hibs, if they're not careful, it's always bubbling under the surface with Hibs, that sort of nervousness, and we see the reverse now. There is a bit of confidence in the Rangers team, and they're looking forward. So it makes it a really exciting end to the season to see who's going to get into those playoffs.
Right, we've got people all over the ground today. Stephen Craigan is with them. Peter Lovenkrands, the former Rangers man, is there as well. So interesting to know, guys, first of all, what you make of that Rangers team selection today, and also the game at Easter Road. What a boost for Rangers that will be today.
Well, it certainly will be, Daryl. I think that defeat for Hibs at Easter Road yesterday puts Rangers back in the driving seat, for that coveted second spot, Peter. And I think, the Rangers players will be buoyed by that result yesterday, won't they?
Oh, definitely. If it doesn't give them a boost, there's something wrong. With Hibs losing that game, gives them this momentum, hopefully, to kick on and get that last spot for the playoff, to get back up. So this should kick them on, yeah. And
Rangers have 2 games in hand, so it just shows you how important today's game is for Rangers.
Oh, it's a massive game. It's a huge game. Getting this game, also a little bit of confidence as well. If they can go and beat Hearts, who's been dominant this season, now you have to be honest, they've been fantastic. But if they go and beat them, it gives them that confidence to push on and hopefully get the results they need for the last bit of the season.
I think there's been much debate this week of whether Stuart McCall would go with a back 3. As he did 2 weeks ago against Hibs at Easter Road, and they won by 2-0, or would he stick to his back 4 that he had last week against Cowdenbeath and he scored 4 goals? He seems to be sticking with the back 4, so I think that's a positive note as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a positive note. Of course, you have to go out and you have to score goals against Hearts as well. It's a big game and they have to go and kind of push for it and trying to get the result that they need. And I understand why he went to the back 4 like that, because it worked well for him before it.
Now, Rangers have dropped 17 points at home. Here at Ibrox, have drawn against Livingston, they've drawn against Alloa. That will have to improve as well, Peter, won't it? Ahead of the next games, possibly the playoffs as well. They have to make sure they can't drop any more points here.
Yes, it's dead unusual for Rangers as a Rangers team to lose that many points, especially at home. That's not normal for this club, so they have to kind of get that right. And with the short games coming in, this is a big game for it to start that momentum, going and get the points that they need and not lose any more points in the run-in.
So with 7 games to go, Rangers have to keep that momentum up. Can they keep up their recent good form and claim back their top flight status?
Soon find out. Gentlemen, thank you very much. We'll see you up here again soon. Time to pay a bit of a tribute to Hearts now in the season that they've had. They've had to rebuild from the very foundations, and Budge has been a model owner. Brick by brick, they've laid out a pathway to a better future.
It was a great day for everyone. It's been a long season. The fans have backed us to be able to come to Tynecastle and get a full house, and they enjoyed the day. The good thing for me was seeing the players out there.
It was amazing to come out of the tunnel and hear the noise, just something I would never have expected to have been part of.
We won the championship now, and that was the aim at the start of the season, but now we look to push on and set our own targets, set our own goals, and try and reach that 100 goal mark and carry on the unbeaten run towards the end of the season.
It's been great the way it's been set up. It takes a lot of the time constraints out of me as well. the issues of having to go to board meetings and you deal with things that take the focus away from the actual first team in the game on the Saturdays. As a head coach, my role is to look after the first team, predominantly. Make sure they're ready for a game on a Saturday, and then have an influence in the 20s and the academy as well, which I enjoy doing.
What Robbie, Stevie and myself have done is we've learned from each other, we've taken bits and pieces of each other, we steal each other's sessions on a regular basis and adapt them, and it's terrific. It's worked really, really well. I think the dynamics between the three of us are excellent.
My worry at the start of the season was going to be the consistency. Going to Alloa, going to Dumbarton, going to Wraith Rovers, going to Falkirk and picking up results. And predominantly over the years, we could raise ourselves for the big games, the derbies or Old Firm games, but it was the other games that was difficult, and this season we proved that we can do that, and our job now is to try and carry that into next season.
We went on quite a lengthy unbeaten run and it came to an end, but now we're back on that run and hopefully we can carry that on for the rest of the season. It was a great journey. I mean, winning every week was great for the players, great for confidence, and we always knew that it would come to an end. We didn't expect it to come as abruptly as it did, but it did, and if anything it's helped us to push on and get more games under the belt.
The difficult part next season will be when we do lose a couple of games, whether it be on the bounce or within a short period. It's about how we respond to that. This season's been fantastic in that we lose one game and we're going to win the next 9. But next season if we lose one and lose the following week, then we must make sure we stay strong, positive and continue in the track that we're going down.
When you do well on the pitch, the supporters are amazing. I expect to have a slightly tougher time next year from that perspective. In terms of the business challenges, we need to continue to grow. We've had a good year, but when you sell out all your hospitality, all your tickets, all your shirts, how do you keep it going? So that's our big challenge for next year.
The test for me is obviously to keep producing players that will be able to step into Robbie's first team and to work with him and Stevie. I think that there's a challenge because there'll maybe less uncertainty around what we do now as a team, because I think we've had a lot of plaudits this season. I don't think we'll be as promoted as a team that people aren't expecting to do well. Certainly everybody's now commenting about how well they believe we'll do. We have to meet those expectations.
It's a huge step, not just for the club but for the players and the staff as well. You're going to the top league and be competing against better players and better teams.
One of the things I'm fairly certain about is there's not really one model that fits all football clubs. There are too many differences between each of the individual clubs, both in terms of size, level of support, etc., which make huge differences. So our model at the moment is working well for us. And I think it's good to build from that, but I'm not saying necessarily it's going to be right for everyone.
Well, Anne Budge did have to make some really big calls, as you very much know, don't you? But when you now look back, do you respect the decision she's made, and certainly the decision she's made this season as well?
No. Nah,
I wondered if you might take me down that line.
She had big decisions to make, and I was there when it was really difficult. It was very difficult to hear that the club could have went under, but credit to the supporters. I think they're the ones that saved the club. They were the ones that raised all the money. They're very, very fortunate, obviously, that Anne came in as well. She's a wealthy woman, and she's run the club very, very well since she's taken over. And it's great to see them getting back on their feet. They're a huge club, and Scottish football can't do without Hearts. So, I'm delighted to see them doing so well, and it's great for Scottish football as well that we've got such a big club back in the top flight.
She's already setting targets for next season as well. She'd like the top 6, she says, and also, stating the fact that they're in a good position. Danny Wilson's been linked with Celtic and said that there's no need to sell at the moment. They're in a much better place.
Well, you heard her there talking about how do you progress the club forward when you've sold out the shirts, you've sold out the hospitality, you sell all the tickets, and you do that by making sure you keep a hold of your players as well. There's Hearts are always going to, the clubs in Scotland are always going to have a price on their players' heads, but when you're not in the position where you have to sell, that's a good position to be in. And I think that there needs to be the balance between obviously getting the business right off the pitch, but you heard her there saying as well that the fans want things to be good on the pitch. and you know they've had a fair amount of that this season. A lot of good performances and results.
And I've heard some of the Rangers fans saying this week as well, perhaps their new board could learn a bit from Anne Budge and Hearts. Okay, next up we'll hear from the new Rangers manager Stuart McCall, who met his old captain at Motherwell this week, Stephen Craigan, and told him when he was offered the job at Ibrox, it was just too good to turn down.
No, I'm never going to get another opportunity. I wouldn't get another opportunity to come and manage such an outstanding club, so it was a little bit of a gamble, but it was something I just wanted to do.
Party time in the away end, it seems. Welcome back to Ibrox. Rangers fans are arriving with a little more hope these days. Their team have won back-to-back games, including a big victory at Easter Road. Today they face the champions Hearts, and we're just under half an hour away from kick-off. Now, if rugby is your thing, then there's a chance to see Edinburgh in action today as they travel to London Irish. A big game, the quarter-final of the Challenge Cup. Action underway at 5 p.m. in BT Sport 2. That's live from the Medeski. Now, time to hear from the new Rangers manager, Stuart McCall. Not many people know him better than his old captain at Motherwell, Stephen Craigan. So we sent Stephen along this week to meet Stuart and to find out how he's getting on.
I was enjoying time out, but I felt as though I wanted to get back on the training ground. And as I say, the Rangers thing came right out of the blue, and delighted that it did. I'm never going to get another opportunity. I wouldn't get another opportunity to come and manage such an outstanding club. So it was something I just wanted to do. Yeah, good, thanks.
Stuart, what's the last 3 weeks been like since taking over?
Eventful, hectic, but obviously really enjoyable, I've got to say. Didn't have to get off to the best of starts with 2 home games, which we were hoping to take maximum points. Managed 2 draws, but I think the thing is we've been improving with each game, which has been important. Obviously psychologically, the victory at Easter Road was key for the players, the belief, for the supporters. And then to follow it up with a good victory against Cowdenbeath, first home one, in a wee while was crucial as well.
It was something we'd kind of spoke about previously, that you may have turned down opportunities or even approaches in the hope of one day getting this place. So has it disappointed?
No, not at all. No, of course not. But I had 4 or 5 opportunities to go back into the game. But for me to give up Scotland, it had to be something I really felt was right. And the opportunities I had didn't really excite me. It's not disappointed, of course, and you only have to walk into this place. And all the training facilities and everything they've got is top draw.
So you get the job, and the first thing you do is bring the players in on their day off?
Yeah, that wasn't a big statement. It was just the fact that when I got offered the job on the Wednesday evening, so I just wanted to have a chance to work with the players on the Thursday, get to know them, get to meet them, try to get a few points over before Saturday's game, and try to make a quick impression.
Do you think working on BT Sport, and seeing Rangers so often, do you think that could be a little edge ahead of some other people?
As much as you're there and you're watching it, I still didn't think for 1 second, I wasn't touting myself for the job or thinking it would become on offer. As I say, a lot of people says, do you really know what you're getting in for? It was going to be a big job to sort of get a bit of spirit back in the club. Whether I'm here for another 2 months, 2 years, whatever it may be, between now and the end of the season, I'll just relish every minute of it.
I think momentum is a big word that's used in football, and it just seems to be gathering at the right time of the season for you.
Yeah, as I said to players, win, lose or draw on Sunday or even the week after, it's all about what's going to happen in them playoffs. I want to have a headache of leaving out players, not struggling to pick 11 that we can play. There's competition now, there's eagerness on the training ground, and the fighting to be involved in what could still be a successful season. And that's all we said to the lads. Regardless what's gone on in the past, this can still be a good season, and it's down to you. The lads who are out of contract, 12 of them, at this moment in time, they wouldn't be getting a contract, but they've still got 2 months to prove it. And a lot of them have been doing a lot better.
Now, I know your appointment is only until the end of the season. It must have whetted your appetite for a little bit more.
Yeah, it's funny, I was marking the cones out there today, and the rain was lashing down, and I was thinking what I would normally been doing, mucking out the stables and, not doing a lot, but, the brain's now in gear. You're looking ahead to games, you're looking ahead to training, you're organising, and just doing what I've loved to do all my life, really, being involved in football. So, I'm going to do everything to enjoy it, relish it, do my utmost best to make sure we're prepared in the right way and give us the best possible chance we can to get out of the league. If that happens, then great. If it doesn't, than it will be through lack of effort.
Old habits, eh? Still calling him Gaffer. How did you find him? Is he the same man that you remember at Motherwell? Has the mindset changed at all?
Well, he was beaming first and foremost. I think he's very appreciative of the job that he has here at Rangers, Darryl. Don't take all the kind of niceties, but he's got a steely determination to make this thing work. He wants to get Rangers back to the top flight. He wants to do it this season, and I firmly believe in him.
He's also not protecting the current players. You heard what he said there. 12 players out of contract. At the moment, they're heading for the exit door.
Yeah, but you have to do that though, and that's our job. As a bigger club as Rangers is, you have to make those type of decisions, and if he feels that's the way it is, then you kind of have to respect that and then see he must know what he's doing.
He also has said in the press that he'd be interested in signing Haris Vucic if McCall, first of all, still here next season, if Vucic would like to come as well. But so many questions need to be asked, because you look at this week, delisting, of course, there's, I'm sure McCall's probably finding out he needs to be a financial expert to be in the job. He still needs to work out the budgets for next season if he's here. There's no clarity still from this board, is there?
I think, the big thing from Stuart is Stuart hasn't been through it all. He's kind of new to it. He's trying to focus on the football side of things. All the past and the history is probably away from him. But I know this is a player that he likes. Vucic is a match winner. He's good in the ball. I think he's legging them to Mikhailichenko. He's kind of got a laboured style about him, Darryl. But when he's on the ball, he can take men on, he can create things. But first and foremost, he can get goals.
I know, of course, Vucic from your old Newcastle days as well. I think everyone was a bit surprised to hear Mike Ashley, Newcastle might receive £500,000 if Rangers get promoted, because he's the only one of the loanees that's really made any impact. But do you like what you've seen from him?
Yeah, definitely. But I've played with Harris myself, and I've seen it myself firsthand what he can do. And I knew when Rangers got him that I know he could do well for the club, and I said that many times in the start when they signed. And I think he's proven that he's been great for the club, and he's got that attitude as a young boy. He wants to get better, he wants to learn, and he had that at Newcastle, and he's shown he's having that here as well.
It's interesting that he's in for David Templeton today. Templeton played last time out. Okay, if Rangers are to keep on building their momentum, they need to do something they've not done yet this season, and that is beat Hearts. In 2 previous meetings, the Jambos have won both times.
So Rangers against Hearts to kick off the championship season. And Danny Wilson stealing in, he's done it against his own club. Nicky Moore with the equaliser, just what Rangers needed. But Hearts forward immediately. Osman Sow! Part of Midlothian and Rangers on a collision course. So red cards. It's come to Hearts. Jason Hall for Hearts. Penalty kick to Hearts. And here it is, Jamie Walker. And it is a scene of pure maroon at Tynecastle.
And we have continued to shuffle our pack. As you can see, Hearts never really looked back from winning at Ibrox the very first game of the season. And it's interesting, the players that have made an impact again this year, so many of them that of course you helped bring through, including, you look at the wide positions, and Walker, Nicholson occupying those roles today.
Yeah, they're very fortunate in that department, Hearts. Nicholson, I think, is a terrific young player. And like what we touched on earlier on, when you're winning games and you're confident, these boys, they then come into their own. They go and they're not frightened to beat people, they're not frightened to shoot for distance. I think you've seen that throughout the course of the season. Jamie Walker, Billy King, fantastic young players, and great for Scottish football as well. We've got a couple like Kilmarnock, Chris Johnson, who's very, very similar. And the more players that we can get like this, the more people will come and watch.
Well, I think it's the fact that they're fearless. And Robbie Nielsen's given them a structure where they can go and express themselves, Darryl. They can take men on, they can make things happen. I think people always talk about match winners and people who can make a difference and affect the opposition. These 3 players can all affect the opposition. And I'm sure today, with Nicholson in the team and with Jamie Walker in the team, they'll try and get them on the ball as much as they possibly can. And particularly in big games. We've seen Jamie Walker scoring in the derby, Michael, and we've seen Sam Nicholson scoring in the derby as well. It's terrific.
These guys are, as Gary said, really talented players, but Craigs has made a good point there as well, that you've got to give them a structure. And you see here Nicholson floating in off the wing. You've got to give guys a structure to play within, but then in that final third, the freedom to go and express yourself. And some of the goals we're seeing here that these guys are scoring just proves what top players they are. And I'll be very interested to see them, stepping up to playing in the Premiership next season against, what is without a doubt a bit more tougher opposition. But I'm fully confident that these boys will more than handle that.
And you can see why, of course, Hearts are champions. 20 different Hearts players have scored this season. 5 Hearts players have scored more than the Rangers top scorer. It's not just about the attack though, Michael. You really like what you've seen from the defence as well.
Yeah, well, obviously the attack's the thing that people talk about a lot of, but you see a lot of clips here where defensively everybody wanting to make sure they don't concede. They've only conceded 18 goals in the league. A lot of these last ditch, great save from Neil Alexander as well, but Eckersley throwing his body on the line. But there's that structure in place at the back to make sure that they get the platform to go and express themselves in the final third. Because if you don't get, clean sheets and concede few goals, you're always going to be fighting an uphill battle.
And Danny Wilson has been right at the very centre of it. OK, it's a very, very big day at Ibrox today, and one of the greatest players here is being fondly remembered. Sandy Jardine sadly lost his battle with cancer last year. A new sculpture of him has taken its place above the marble staircase inside the main entrance here, in recognition of the amazing impact he made at Rangers. One of the greatest ever to play for the club. He'll be in the thoughts of both teams today, having also been a fan favourite at Hearts. We're with Rangers today, and we'll be back with them on Thursday as well as they travel to Palmerston, Queen of the South, Thursday 7:30 p.m. in BT Sport 1. Last time they were there, Ali McCoist's resignation, and they lost, of course. Ibrox this Easter Sunday is a big game in Scotland as Rangers take on already crowned champions Hearts. Jambos fans arriving for a bit of a party. Why not? It's a celebration just about every week right now. Kick-off is 12:50. Let's get the thoughts of both managers ahead of the game. Robbie Neilson and Stuart McCall have been speaking to Mark Guidi.
Stuart, two changes today, Mosney and Templeton out, Zaliukas and Vukic in. What's your thinking behind that?
Yeah, I thought that Hearts might just go one up, and I didn't think we needed three centre-backs. They might still play two up right enough, but I just felt Harris, obviously coming on last week and getting his 2 goals, deserves to be in the side. And we've tried to pack it with good footballers, Shields, Law, Vukic, Wee Murdoch in middle of the park, and then take the game to them. We're so... we know what Hearts have done. We win 26 games out of 30, scored lots of goals. But I think we've got to think about us today. We're in a different place when we were a few weeks ago. A little bit of confidence, a little bit of belief. And it's down to us at home to try and go and win the game, and that's what we're aiming to do.
And in terms of the race for second spot, very much in your own hands, particularly again with Hibs losing yesterday.
Well, yeah, I mean, football can change so quickly. I was at the Hibs game yesterday, and fair play to Queen of the South, defended really well, and got a 1-0 win. But I've been in the game long enough, as I say, football can change so quick. So we're at the here and now. We've got a little bit of belief in among us. But today's game, and then we go down to Queen of the South on Thursday as well, which will be a really tough game. So taking nothing for granted, but as long as we keep improving, that's the main thing.
Robbie, 2 changes today. Nicholson and McHattie in for King and Eckersley. What's your thinking behind the changes?
Yeah, just we've changed our shape a little bit, and doing things slightly differently. So I wanted to bring Kevin in for Adam. It gives a bit more height in that department. So yeah, it's something we decided to do.
What's Adam's situation exactly now with the club?
Yeah, well, I had a meeting with Adam on Thursday. We decided that we're not going to offer him a contract. As everyone kind of knows, and we have to evolve as a club. We're moving up a level. He's done absolutely fantastic for us, and he's disappointed. But I have to look to the future now.
I suppose you're going to have a lot of tough decisions in the weeks and months ahead.
Yeah, I have. I've got quite a few to make, but when you move up a league, you have to do that. It's important that we evolve as a team and as a club. And we've got a direction I want to take, and that's what I'm going to do.
Thanks, Robbie.
Thank you.
Hearts have made a couple of changes, and it is interesting to see that Adam Eckersley isn't involved at all, and word is he's not going to be given a contract. Are you surprised by that?
Well, yes and no. I think that it's a big call from Robbie Neilson, but it's a clear intent of where he wants to take the club. He did it last summer when he never kept on guys like Ryan Stevenson as well, but you can't say that what he's done hasn't been the right decision.
Rangers left back position in focus as well, because Lee Wallace was excellent at Easter Road a few weeks ago in the back 5. Slightly different role in the back 4 for him as well, Stephen.
Well, I think Lee is probably one of the players, Dal, whose career has probably been affected by Rangers going down the leagues. I think he's lost a little bit of intensity to his play. He hasn't been affecting games going forward as much as he used to do. But that weekend against Hibs 2 weeks ago, I seen Lee Wallace back to his best. He was running at people, he was going forward, he was putting crosses in the box, he even scored. So he has to replicate that, not just today, but also moving forward.
Peter, do you think Lee Wallace is getting back to his best?
Yeah, I can only agree with what Stephen says. It's fantastic. He's back to the way he wanted to play, going forward and creating stuff going forward as well. Not only the defensive stuff, but going forward as well. And I think he's doing well with it.
And on a side note, Chris Boyd is back on the bench for Rangers today. as you probably know, he's been linked with Kilmarnock a bit, maybe a coaching role capacity. You're not going to tell me anything about it, are you? Is it an option?
No, I just wish that I could get money for every time I was asked that, and then I'd be able to afford them.
Yes, okay. It is a very big game at Ibrox today. Rangers trying to do something they've not done all season yet, and that is defeat Hearts and keep the momentum going. And all the action is live next on BT Sport. Welcome back to Ibrox. The champions are in town looking for a third straight win over Rangers. Hearts have been unstoppable in the championship.
Away up in Gorgie at Tynecastle Park, there's a wee Fitbit team that will aye make its mark. They've won all the honours in footballing arts, and there's no other team to compare with the Hearts. We've won the league flag and we've won the league cup. Though we sometimes go down, we can aye go back up. Our forwards can score, and it's no idle talk. Our defence is as strong as the old Castle Rock.
They've had some great moments this season. Gary, it's going to be interesting to see what the mentality is here today.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think the Rangers obviously need to win the game a lot more than Hearts do, but the pressure's off Hearts, so I think it'll be a tight game, really tight game. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a draw, to be honest with you.
No doubt they're here for a party.
You see all the banners and the balloons there. They're certainly going to lap this one up and enjoy themselves.
It's a big day for Danny Wilson, isn't it? He's been in the headlines. Ronnie Dyler's mentioned him as a possible target.
Well, he just has to continue showing, what a good player he is, how good he is in the ball, especially coming to a big arena. Can he go and defend and lead his team forward?
Peter, how do you see this going for Rangers today?
I'm quite positive that I think Rangers can get a good result today. They might go and win it, because now the Hearts have actually won it. They might not be up for as much as Rangers should be. So I'm favouring Rangers a little bit.
OK, we shall see. Time to hand over to your match commentators, Gary McAllister and Derek Ray.
Thank you, Darryl. Good afternoon, everyone. They say a week is a long time in politics. How about 11 weeks in football? Back in January, amid wild winter weather and mass protests by Rangers fans against the old board, these two sides got in 24 minutes of skating practice before time was called. Hearts' lead already substantial then, standing at 13 points, grew to the stage where they simply could not be caught. It is now a yawning 26-point chasm, and at the insistence of the new Rangers manager Stuart McCall, a guard of honour will be formed as the Ibrox club recognise the achievement of the best team in this division. A lot still at stake for Rangers as they try to first of all force their way into the playoffs. They want to be second when all is said and done. Danny Wilson, the Hearts skipper, preparing to lead his team out. There is the guard of honour. Heart of Midlothian, the name given to the old Edinburgh prison that used to house the city's gallows. But now Hearts are truly a club unchained. A shining new dawn has arrived for the Jambos. Everyone has been impressed with the manner of Hearts' revitalisation, and a swift return to the top flight of Scottish football is assured. Rangers have recalled Haris Vučkić after 2 goals as a substitute in the 4-1 win over Cowdenbeath. There's also a place for the man who captained Hearts in their 2012 Scottish Cup final win over Hibs, Marius Janiukas, back from international duty with Lithuania. Bilal Mosny and David Templeton, another former Jambo, are the two to drop to the bench. Hearts have fullback Kevin McCarthy fit again, and he replaces Adam Eckersley, who might well have played his last game for the club Sam Nicholson is preferred to Billy King on the flank. Gennaro Zeefuik is 25 today. Gary, the tactics board.
Well, Rangers is most definitely 4-4-2. The midfield four will take the shape of a diamond. Nicky Law given the job to go and support Clark and Miller. Hearts, on the other hand, they're 4-4-2, but slightly different shape across the middle. Gomez and Payard will sit and hold, allowing Nicholson and Walker to get in the wide areas.
The officials are the same four who were on duty in the aborted game, headed up by referee Bobby Madden. Glorious spring sunshine in Govan. Will be Rangers to kick off. Well, they started on this Easter Sunday, and this time we assume they will finish. Hearts with the title in the bag, trying to make it 3 successive wins against the Ibrox men for the first time in nearly 3 decades. Rangers have work to do as they try to secure second place in the table and a potential playoff advantage come the middle of May. That's by Kenny Miller, trying to wait it so that Lee Wallace could run onto the ball. Tidying up was Anin Öztürk for Hearts. The star man for Rangers in the recent victory at Easter Road over Hibs. They really have gone off the boil. 3 defeats in a row. Well, Stuart McCall has already lifted the gloom that was enveloping Rangers. He possesses a fine managerial record against Hearts. 7 wins, 3 draws, just 2 defeats. Nicky Law. Shields. Rangers trying to keep the ball moving. Darren McGregor. A little bobble on the way through. He was being watched by Osman Sow.
Yeah, and it's Osman Sow who's just dropped into that left-hand side. Zeefuik up on his own. And this is interesting here, Derek. Hearts leaving 3 up. And that just, what the Rangers do there, they're asking the question, they're looking to the side, they're going to go 3v3.
Just on the edge of the technical area. There's Vučkić. Something Rangers have been working on. Nicky Law, spanking effort. Neil Alexander holds on to it.
No, that was a brave decision by Stuart McCall, allowing Nicky Law to come away from that defensive duty, leaving Rangers, 3 versus 2 at the back. That was a brave decision. It's a great effort from Law, super technique. This is a player that Stuart McCall wants to get more involved. Stuart knows him really well, and that's what he wants to see him do. Get efforts at goal, score goals.
Zeefuik, the birthday boy, celebrating his 25th birthday. The Dutchman on loan from Groningen.
His shape is just slightly different than what we thought it would be at the top of the show.
Well, so many plaudits have come the way of Robbie Neilson, rightly so. At the age of 34, as head coach, this season in charge. Only Falkirk, remember, have beaten the Jambos in the Championship this season. So was looking for it. Rangers trying to win that midfield battle. Let's have Callum Patterson right back. If you think back to the aborted game, he's used as a striker by Robbie Neilson in that match. Lee Wallace with the throw. Against his old club. Nicky Clark. He's really come onto a game. 3 goals in his last 3 matches. Law, change of direction. So Nicholson was trying to stay with him every step of the way. Andy Murdoch into reverse gear to Lee McCulloch. McGregor, Lee McCulloch once more for the home side. Almost 4 minutes gone.
There's a real big game atmosphere inside Ibrox. basking under the sunshine. Pitch is excellent, a lot of water being thrown on prior to the game kicking off. The surface is perfect.
Evan McCarthy, you'll remember, victim of that shocking Kenny Miller challenge in the November meeting of these two. Suffered knee damage. Adam Eckersley taking his place, but Eckersley is not going to be offered a new deal. Indications are that might be that as far as Eckersley goes. He might not play for Hearts again.
It looks as if his Hearts career is over. Going for youth. Eckersley obviously disappointed to hear that news.
Taken by McGregor. Dean Shields. His form has been a bit perplexing going back for a number of months, but a settled run in the side, and Stuart McCall has faith in him. Law. Danny Wilson trying to take charge. Nicky Clark from the back.
Danny Wilson very comfortable and coming from the back with the ball. Nicky Clark just comes in from the side there. That's a free kick.
Öztürk with a flair for the dramatic. There's a thing or two about scoring from miles out. Danny Wilson too long and too strong for Jamie Walker.
And it's Jamie Walker who's actually positioned themselves closest to Zeefuik, and so is more on the left side there. That will change.
I think it's the one thing, Gary, we've seen from Hearts throughout the season. Tactical tweaking of the team. Robbie Nielsen can do that. Really is at the same formation one game to the next. There's always something a bit different.
Yeah, players have got to be able to adapt, and they've got to be able to change from different shapes and formations instantly. It's something we see a lot when you go up into the higher echelons of Champions League and stuff.
It's something frankly wasn't happening enough with regard to Rangers, although Stuart McCall has put his stamp on the proceedings. The tactical front. Lee Wallace reaching out was Ali Öztürk. Nothing there apparently.
As Wallace tries to go on the outside, there's a little bit of a handoff, but not enough contact for a free kick.
Ian Alexander, former Rangers goalkeeper. The Hearts were his boyhood team. Was carried off at Ibrox in August. Fractured cheekbone as a result of a collision with Ali Öztürk. Wallace to take it. It's a milestone appearance for Lee Wallace, his 150th Rangers appearance. And it's Vučkić, on loan from Newcastle. Also going to be Rangers player, Rangers property next term. We shall see. They have been impressed with his play from Slovenia.
He's positioned out there on the right.
Wallace trying to get it to dip towards Nicky Clark. Vučkić in the vicinity, just taken away from him. Followed by Osman Sow.
Osman Sow did very well in an unfamiliar position there, covering back. You can see Vučkić was just trying desperately to try and get it onto his left foot.
Had gone out of play, so a chance for Darren McGregor to wind himself up for the long throw. Distance from McGregor. Rangers forced to play it back to Jan Lucas. Wallace. Shields. Just trying to flick it forwards quickly. Clark. Not quite. McCarthy. Zeefuik had the arms outstretched. Ball was nowhere near him.
Zeefuik needs the ball to be played in and around him. I don't think he's one who's going to chase up channels.
Burley finisher. Gennaro Zayfak. 9 goals in 11 matches, can't really argue with that. Kenny Miller, Nicky Clark. Just looking over his shoulder, trying to judge the flight of the pass.
And it's again just Kenny Miller dropping way in deep, getting turned, trying to spot the movement of Nicky Clark.
Shields was trying to winkle possession away from Miguel Pallardo, one of the sitting players in midfield for Hearts. Morgado Gomes is the other. Nearly got caught. Eagerness of Clark there for Rangers.
That's typical Clark. Effervescent, chasing lost causes, putting defenders under pressure. It's good work.
It's Nicky Clark's 50th league appearance for the Ibrox club. McCarthy. Rangers really getting stuck in. Understandable that they are up for this. Points are so precious. Slipping and sliding. So look at the action area so far, Gary.
Yeah, Hearts have been struggling to get out their own half. It's been all Rangers.
Toys from Wallace. Lorna.
Just wave and wave of attack, one after another.
Vučkić, measured pass intended for Miller that time. Clark, offside, Kenny Miller.
Kenny Miller just wanted this a little bit earlier. Gomez puts his hand up. Not a good area to give the ball away so cheaply. Clark pounces on it. Miller just wanted it a touch earlier. He's just half a yard off.
It's a striking partnership again for Stuart McCall today. Kenny Miller and Nicky Clark. Stuart McCall, the interim boss, in place until the end of the season. And then Rangers make a decision beyond that, what they want to do.
Just got to keep winning games. Unbeaten so far.
It's fascinating when you look at the battle for second, third and fourth. The playoffs in mind. Rangers, of course, go to Palmerston after this to face Queen of the South. That's on Thursday. They're trying to get men forward. Look at the run by Osman Sow. So he tries to keep his balance. And Andy Murdoch, crucially for Rangers, stuck to his task.
Osman Sow here, just an opportunity to come more central. He opens up his legs, he's away from Zalukis. Gregor does well. He's desperate in the end. Little indication there. This one's off the training ground, just exchanged a couple of passes. Little nutmeg in between there. This is a proper challenge. Skipper McCulloch.
Something Hearts have been working on at Rickerton in the past few days. Osman Sow has made his way over to the touchline. Something having to be taped up there. Danny Wilson. Another player loses his footing, this time Jamie Walker. Vučkić. Only member of the so-called Toon 5 to have made an impact with Rangers. Law. McCulloch. Vučkić showing for it. Darren McGregor. It's McCarthy who solves the problem for Hearts.
McGregor just trying to force himself down that right side. Again, it takes Osman Sow away back the pitch.
He's looking into that. Son. Go Hearts' way. So the Hearts supporters in the background there. Corner of Ibrox. Here for another party. They want to against Queen of the South in the home game. The title already secured. More battles to be uncorked. A few of them are going to get suntans today.
It's bigger than a Magnum there.
Vukic, quickly taken, Shields, now Wallace. Provided by Law. Tactically usually set up so well to thwart the opposition. Players like Nicholson get into their stride. To prevent goals when you're playing against the Jambos. Patterson, blocked by Law. And it goes Turk all the way back to Alexander.
Yeah, it was good pressing from Rangers. It's a cheap giveaway by Dean Shields originally. Then Rangers went hunting to get the ball back.
Level on points with Hibernian. A couple of games in hand. Will be so significant. Just a reminder that the teams finishing third and fourth play each other. Initial stage of the playoffs. Winners of that go on to beat the team who's ended up second. That's where Rangers want to be.
It's a long drawn process, but it is very exciting.
Sides in the lower reaches of the Premiership really hitting form as well. A mix of Ross County and Motherwell. So absolutely no guarantees for whomever finishes second in the Championship.
And there's still
third or fourth.
So much to play for. Yeah, I agree. Nicky Lodge is coming into this wide left area. He shows he's been a little bit more central.
McGregor. So was trying to get tightly onto him. And McGregor using the captain, Lee McCulloch. He's again on 300 Rangers appearances, just 3 short of that mark now. So Nicholson. Gennaro Zayfak. It's unlikely that he'll return. Hearts next season, it is a loan deal. We'll tell on that front. Wallace topples over. Bobby Madden says free kick to Rangers.
Again, Rangers forcing the issue.
Bobby Nielsen just querying that one with George Salmon, the 4th official. Nicky Law feeds it in. An effective back flick by Nicky Clark. And the outcome is a corner to Rangers.
Yeah, Osman Sow taking no chances. It's a tricky little ball in towards that near post area. Nicky Clark, the clever little back heel, doesn't just quite fall in the path of Lee Wallace.
The left foot of Haris Vukic. It's kicked by Patterson. And it goes Turk. It's Meteor.
We saw the names So and Zifuk on the starting lineup. They thought they'd play with 2 up front, but they haven't. You know, they played 4 and 5 across the middle, allowing Rangers a lot of possession.
Clark's gone over to the right. Still gets a goal kick. 9 successive Hearts victories. Going from the lone defeat in the Championship against Falkirk, and Hearts were magnanimous enough that day to say that Falkirk deserved it. It has been an extraordinary campaign for the men in maroon. They want to keep it going. They know easing off if Robbie Nielsen has his way. Walker was trying to get tightly onto him. Jamie Walker! A whisker away in the end.
strength of Walker coming in on his favoured right side. Seen him score from that distance in the past. Cammy Bell was comfortable, he had it covered.
Well, a scare for Rangers. Jamie Walker, who has netted 11 times in this campaign, all league goals. Makase. Decent of a move, never mind to mess around. They're trying to release it, it's fallen for Nicky Law. Wallace, he was motoring, it's come on Nicholson, corner to Rangers.
And it's exactly the areas they want to have these players in possession. Nicky Law high up the pitch, and then the rampaging Wallace joining in.
Well, it's been positive from Rangers in the opening 20 minutes. Tries to make his move. It could have gone anywhere with Alexander.
Alexander looked to field it nice and early. Rangers again leaving it 2v2 at the back.
Andy Murdoch recently agreed to a new Rangers contract tying him to the club until 2017. Really enjoyed working under Stuart McCall. He said that he's not old enough to have seen Stuart McCall the player. His dad assures him he was pretty competent. We could back up his dad. McCulloch. Now Vučkić. Žaliukas offered to play for Rangers against Cowdenbeath last week. He was 24 hours on from his appearance for Lithuania against England. You might hear applause in the background in the 22nd minute. And that's from both sets of supporters. The applause for Sean Cole, who sadly lost his life at the age of 22. A Scottish soldier died in Miami. And he did attend school in Tynecastle. He's the cousin of Darren Cole, the former Rangers player. And Jamie Walker was a very close friend of Sean Cole. You see wearing the black armband in memory of his friend. Nice touch by everyone.
Wonderful tribute. Both sets of fans.
With the pass to Vučkić. Now here's Shields. McGregor on the move. And McGregor overcooked it.
Darren McGregor has been on the front foot. Any opportunity he's had to go and get high up the pitch, he's taken it.
Gallardo, the Spaniard, just in front of Alexander. Now Callum Patterson. The Scotland under-21s. Defeated Hungary 2-1. The celebrations had to be cut short. McCulloch. Trying to make it 3 successive wins at Ibrox. Never managed that in their history.
Just short of 25 minutes. And here we are planned just to set off the game, allow Rangers possession and look to counter.
Bounced off Kenny Miller. Andy Murdoch. Chase back for Lee Wallace. Shields. Nicholson to Dean Shields of the ball. Here's to Lucas. All the way back it goes to Cammy Bell. Missed 35 games because of a shoulder injury. This is 4th successive start. Rangers delighted to have him back in the team. It's the 200th appearance of his career. Vučkić to fend off McCarthy. To Wallace. Nicky Law. It was off balance but released the ball efficiently enough. Vučkić. Öztürk and Patterson going for the same ball.
Again, the Hearts defenders closing Vučkić very quickly as soon as he comes in on that favoured left foot, snapping in at the tackle. Very much aware that he's a left footer playing on that right side. Stuart McCall just indicating, let one go, let one fly.
Ali Öztürk pings it forward in the general direction of Jamie Walker. Lucas vigorously. The two men in charge, Stuart McCall and Robbie Neilson, side by side a few yards away from each other, trying to get their respective messages across.
This is done well by pressing high, forcing Hearts into errors like that.
Darren McGregor. It's Danny Wilson. He's named by Celtic manager Ronnie Tyler this week as a player he rates. Wilson, who seems to be on the books of Rangers, as a youngster before they moved to Liverpool.
After the good work there.
Just going through a bit of a lull. McCall unbeaten as Rangers manager. Has 4 games in charge prior to this lunchtime. Kevin McCarthy. Certainly is the left back of the future as far as Hearts are concerned. Obviously the senior player, but for the new deal. Now, went down. Bobby Madden ways to play on. Advantage with Rangers. Law for Wallace. And Kenny Miller! Opening goal for Rangers! They took advantage of the referee's decision to let the play flow, and it's Miller who bursts through 1-0.
Yeah, and 2 players getting in the areas where they're most effective. Law getting high up the pitch. And the rampaging Wallace, he loves joining in. And this is a quality ball across the 6-yard box. And that's a good finish by the experienced Miller. He just feeds it in, just helps it on its way. Good finish by Kenny Miller. Super play from the Rangers left back, Wallace.
He hasn't scored all that many this season, Kenny Miller, but he picks his spots. Netting in the big matches. He was on target at Easter Road recently, and he's breached the Hearts defence today. Kenny Miller for Rangers. And it could be a massive goal in the story of who finishes second in the Scottish Championship. See if Hearts can respond. The Rangers supporters are jubilant. They've had so little to shout about in terms of action on the pitch these last few months. Is it now clicking into gear?
Just that combination on the left-hand side from Law. wants to get up the park, get close to the 18-yard box so he can make his passes. It was nicely weighted ball into the path of Wallace. Good ball across and a good finish.
Safe out, has been kept pretty quiet. This one hit by Murdoch. It'll be a Hearts ball, and that means Kevin McCarthy will take the throw-in. Walker. Ball by McCarthy. McCulloch away. Safe out. McCulloch one more time for good measure. By Payardo. Danny Wilson from the back for Heart of Midlothian. McCarthy on the ground. Gomes on the ground. Comes up by Kenny Miller. Wilson to price open the Rangers rear guard. McCulloch for Clark to chase. And there's Neil Alexander. Just couldn't get bodies back quickly enough. Just looking back to the Rangers goal. It all happens in a few seconds. Bobby Madden deciding to play advantage. To the back of the net, but it's not going to count. Walker sort of gone. Safe out involved this time. It's pretty blatant. What can Hearts conjure? Ali Öztürk, we know what he's capable of.
Seen him score from further than this opportunity.
Well, it was a ridiculous goal in the Edinburgh Derby at Easter Road, wasn't it? In the dying embers. Onto the wall, over a bit more. Öztürk strikes it with authority. Cammy Bell electing to punch it clear, and it comes to Sam Nicholson. And Nicholson just wide.
A couple of good efforts. The first one from Öztürk. It's a straight run up, there's loads of dip. Cammy Bell taking no chances. Falls to Nicholson, he tries to go for the fast bend. Bell had it covered as well, that one. Just going the other way, it was going away from goal.
It's a couple of close shaves from the Hearts' point of view. Walker and Nicholson. Efforts from some distance out. But Rangers with the lead. Kenny Miller has given it to them. Safe out. Took the tumble, here's Osman Sow. Stretching those long legs of his. Oh, and Cammy Bell, it's not what he had in mind at all. And Walker, he tried to punish him. Cammy Bell up to the task, finally.
Well, it's a poor clearance from Cammy Bell. Falls to the right man, Walker. Recovers well, Cammy Bell.
Danny Wilson. Osman Sow to the targets in the air. Öztürk to make his move to the penalty spot. Walker with the delivery, convincing punch by Bell. Öztürk trying to keep it alive here for the Jambos. Gomes. Danny Wilson is beaten to it by Marius Janukas.
Lucas had to win that one. There was a spare man over. Alan Patterson was coming in the outside. It's a vital header.
Danny Wilson. Gareth Gomes. It's under Craig Levein. Dundee United. Craig Levein now the director of football at Hearts. Öztürk. He's not afraid of shooting from there. Insufficient punches that time off the boot of Aline Öztürk.
Yeah, when he strides forward, he's capable. Again, he just try to create that dipping, powerful shot.
He's had one or two things to contemplate since the Kenny Miller goal. He's trying to bite back. This handball.
They've now got to the shape that they thought they would start with. You know, So's come in off the left and playing up alongside Zefuk.
By Gennaro Zefak, now Payado to the belly of the Rangers defence. Now has it. Here's McCulloch. Rangers have scored first in the Championship this season. They've never lost. 14 wins, 4 draws. Payado just walks away. Murdoch. Start on the spin for Murdoch. Speed and drench to Neil Alexander. Brooks was favoured. Lucas fires it into the main stand. With the current state of affairs. To watch Hibs yesterday, Queen of the South, victory for Queens. The South Rangers' next opponents by Nicholson. It up. Zefak. Free kick.
Zaliukas just getting too tight.
Was taken swiftly. Here's Patterson. Rangers didn't look 100% ready. McGregor to boot it away. Danny Wilson, not quite part of the script.
I don't know if the sun hampered them there.
McGregor, they switch of play to Wallace. Full back to another. Law. For Dean Shields to think about the shot, he passes instead. Vučkić! Second goal for Rangers! Brilliant from Hannes Vučkić! And that is why they want to sign him permanently.
That's a fantastic piece of skill. Every Hearts player is totally aware of his prowess with the left foot. They've handled it pretty well, but just low half a yard. Doesn't need the invitation. It's a superb finish. Tucks it inside that right-hand post. McHattie tries to show him down the outside. Just cuts in. Just moves the ball half a yard and it's a quick hit. Well, the keeper has no chance. That's quality.
The man from Ljubljana.
The name is Vučkić.
It's 4 goals in 4 games. And Rangers with a 2-goal cushion against the champions of the second tier. This is new territory for the Jambos.
Yes, no. Can they cope? They haven't been in this situation. The champions.
Morgado Gomes. Wilson's pass. Hearts have been knocking on the door, and the minutes following on from Kenny Miller's opener. It really was a moment of quality from Vučkić. McHattie with the Hearts throw. It's gone Rangers' way. We're back with you on Tuesday. Motherwell against St Mirren. And that could be oh so important in terms of the team from the Premiership that'll be in the playoffs. Rangers are in action on Thursday in Dumfries against Queen of the South. 7:30 BT Sport 1 as well. And then on Sunday it's Kilmarnock against Aberdeen in the Premiership. Aberdeen, the current occupants of second. Our SPFL Roundup programme is tomorrow, Easter Monday, 6:30 BT Sport 1.
This is a quality finish here. He starts it outside the post, as you can see. There's a little fingertip from Alexander, but not enough to stop it from getting in the net. He enjoyed that one. I just felt McHattie didn't get quite close enough to him.
And again, it's Haris Vučkić. The decision to go his way. The referee obliges. Jamie Walker exactly approved of that.
Vučkić is just protecting the ball. This time they get too close to him. He's just dragged to the floor.
He's been used as a substitute in the last couple of matches, Haris Vučkić. To the brace off the bench in the most recent game. Patterson, corner. Law to take this. Short corner and Vučkić offering himself, and it comes again from Law. Back in by Shields. Was trying to discomfit Wilson. Shields. So, nimble play by Dean Shields. Bobby Madden right up with play once again.
Yeah, good determination there from Shields. Under the new managers, can he reignite his Rangers career?
The Rangers supporters enjoying what they are seeing on this Easter Sunday. Andy Murdoch, speculative ball played in. And Kenny Miller with the first goal. The referee did play an important advantage, Bobby Madden.
There's a foul there on Lee McCulloch. And this is where we've got to congratulate Bobby Madden there. Great advantage. It's a great advantage for Rangers. Good execution, great movement.
And now it's opening up for Zeefuik as he slips it to the side. And the chance is still on, but it squirms wide of the target. Jamie Walker was up there, but there's a red card that's been shown here. There was a foul just as that was developing. And who knows, it might yet change the equation. Bobby Madden, I think, has pointed to the spot. There was an elbow there. McCulloch debating, but this could be pivotal.
Well, Lee McCulloch, it leads with his arm.
Red card it is. It's quite a strange one to observe because it had happened further back. So, red card. They've heard it.
They're having a chat there. His arm's in an unnatural position. He does lead with his arm. Is there a striking of so? The referee's seen it as that.
So just the red card. You can see it happen in this position.
There's a challenge there, and it's this one here. Lee McCulloch goes up, and he does go. He just leads with it, I'll touch.
It's quite a confusing scene for a second or two there.
Yeah, with the two challenges coming close together. When you go to head it, you generally lead with your arms. Was there a strike by the elbow? I'm not so sure, but his arms were a bit high.
It's the 10th sending off of Lee McCulloch's career. Bobby Madden just trying to keep a lid on the proceedings. Leading 2-0, but now deprived of their captain. Indications are will be 1 added minute at the end of the first half.
That just takes the gloss off a really good 45 minutes for Glasgow Rangers.
There's Gary who'll tell you that Lee McCulloch gets away with that a bit too much. Bobby Madden catching up with him there. It's one for our team of pundits to discuss during the half-time interval. Flicked by Osman Sow. Let's see if that will give Hearts oxygen. Anderson, surrounded by Newcastle. It comes to Gomes. Patterson. Walker. And then it fall for Nicholson after Slow had gone down. Looking over towards the referee. Skewed away by Wallace. We've had the 1 additional minute. And that will be all for the first half. Now Stuart McCall's team with a healthy lead. Kenny Miller providing the opening goal after good use of the advantage rule. Haris Vučkić with a classy second goal, but Lee McCulloch sent off, and the complaints continue from Rangers about that. Hearts with the numerical advantage, but 2-0 to the home side at the break.
Bilal Mosney sent out at half-time to warm up because Lee McCulloch sent off. Rangers no doubt changes to come. Different dynamic now. Ibrox today, we're back with Rangers away at Palmerston on Thursday. They place Queen of the South Thursday 7:30 on BT Sport 1. Big game, big cast today, and lots to get through as well. Rangers took the lead through Kenny Miller after a good advantage was played by Bobby Madden, and it was an excellent advantage. It led to the goal, didn't it, Stephen?
Well, it was. You know, sometimes referees have got a split second to give a decision, Darryl, and I think it's better, you know, that they let it go for 2 or 3 seconds, because I think they can always pull it back. But you know, we spoke about Lee Wallace in the build-up to the game and how much he has to get forward, he has to influence the game, try and get into the final third and supply chances. You know, he done that.
Good ball in, important goal.
Yeah, fantastic ball in. I was actually quite surprised. As soon as he was about to cross it, and he crossed it behind the defence instead of in between the goalkeeper and the defence, I thought, oh no, it's a bad cross. But it's a perfect pick out for Kenny Miller coming on, and a great finish.
The tone had been set early on. Rangers were getting a lot of the ball today.
Oh, Rangers are by far on top right from the start. You saw the quick free kick they took to Nicky Law having a strike. They showed their intent. They're a high energy, pressing Hearts high up the pitch, and they thoroughly deserved their lead.
So good advantage played there by Bobby Madden. Maybe not this time for Hearts, though. You felt, Gary, that Hearts were right in here and the advantage wasn't played a few minutes later.
Yeah, well, that's where the problem lies, you know, a bit of inconsistency for referees. You know, there, if he plays the advantage, Jamie Walker's clean through and probably would have scored.
Good shot, of course, from Allstock afterwards, and then Nicholson has a chance too.
It was, you know, but that decision, Bobby Madden can only answer that question. You know, he has to try and explain why he pulled that back. You know, because that's 1-0. It's a crucial moment in the game. That goes 1-1. So, you know, suddenly Hearts are on top. They're forcing the issue. So it's a big call.
Not 1-1, no. It was very quickly 2-0 to Rangers. Haris Vučkić, we spoke about ahead of the game, Peter. This is a great finish, isn't it?
Yeah, but individual play is fantastic. He kind of drops the shoulder and the defender and move it inside where he wants to come in on his left foot, and it's a fantastic finish. He's done a great job of that.
It's defensively. When you see the goal coming here, Wilson steps up to close the ball, and as Haris Vučkić steps inside, that's where Wilson would be covering his fullback. Kevin McCarthy's got to do everything to show him down the line, though. You know that he's wanting to get back on his left foot. Take nothing away from Vučkić, though, because that was a fantastic strike.
Cuts in a lot, and Gary, you'd said to me, usually always hits the target. 2-0 to Rangers, looking good at that point. And then Lee McCulloch, the captain, is sent off. So first of all, is it a definite red for you, Gary?
Yeah, it's a definite red card. You know, he's led with the arm, and you know, he could have gave so a real nasty one there. And it's a crazy thing to do, because Rangers are well on top. You know, they're 2-0 up and cruising in the game, and now they've gave Hearts a lifeline.
Well, you can't defend that challenge, you know, but what Lee has to realise is he's never going to win the ball. You know, Zeefuik is running off him. He has to try and probably protect him a little bit more, so he's taking himself into an area of the pitch where he's never going to win the ball. I mean, that could have been a cheekbone, jaw, everything could have been broke. So, you know, how he can defend himself to his manager, I have no idea.
There was a wee penalty shout in there as well for Hearts too, but let's talk about McCulloch, because is it just unacceptable to you as well, especially from the captain?
Of course it is. I mean, regardless of whether he's captain, it's unacceptable from any player on the pitch. And Lee McCulloch's got a reputation, you know, amongst football fans and people in this country, that he goes into tackles and challenges in the air with his arm leading like that. He can't win the ball like Craigs is saying there. He's too far away from it. You see here, he cannot win that ball. Regardless of whether he jumps in with his head, he's going to clash heads with the guy. It's an unacceptable tackle, and he could have caused Osmondsor some serious damage there.
Stuart McCall is trying to get a bit of momentum going. He'll be fuming in there, won't he?
Oh, I would be very disappointed if I was him. My captain goes out and does something like that. That's why you need your captain to be a leader. Be the person who knows what's going on the pitch, and do a challenge like that and letting your team down just before half time as well, where you're 2-0 up and you're cruising at home. It's unacceptable.
They have to regroup now, and it looks like Bilal Mosney is coming on, but it is 2-0 to Rangers at the break. Another important game for them as well, as they finish off this race and try and get second place in the Championship. Can Hearts mount a comeback now? We'll find out shortly. The Hearts owner Anne Budge is smiling, but her team are trailing by 2-0 at half-time. There is hope though. Lee McCulloch, the Rangers captain, is off. Rangers down to 10 men. And we're just hearing that Haris Vucic, who got the second goal in the game, has been sacrificed. Bilal Mosney will be coming on. What do you make of that call, Peter?
I'm very surprised, I have to say. I thought maybe he would take Nick Clark or Kenny Miller off and went for a more defensive midfielder. So I'm very surprised that Harris came off. I thought he'd done really well.
Hearts, we thought also might make changes, guys. You were saying they do need to change now. Surprised they haven't?
I am surprised, because I think that Big Zfouk up front's not done anything today, and the balance isn't right. I think that, you know, you want to get a bit more pace at the team. I'd look at bringing Billy King on and maybe getting Walker back in that hole. Give another dimension to Hearts, because Zfouk's definitely not doing anything.
We're just waiting for Rangers to appear. No doubt Stuart McCall's doing some big talking in there at the moment. Gary, on Hearts, would you have made changes if you'd been in there today?
Yeah, I think with Rangers going down to 10 men, as Michael just touched on there, I think a wee bit more pace about the team. Billy King would probably be the obvious one for me to come on. You know, he's capable of beating people, he's very direct. So I'm pretty sure you maybe find 10 minutes into the game, if Hearts don't score, that Robbie might think about changing it.
Still no sign of Rangers behind us here. You know Stuart McCall pretty well. He's obviously going to be angry because of what's happened. I think they're just coming on now. Robbie Nielsen, look, he's wondering where they are, asking the officials. What will he be saying in there, do you think,
Stuart
Stephen?
will just be trying to convince his players, stay calm for the first 10-15 minutes. You know, don't give Hearts any kind of lifeline. Don't make any silly mistakes or give up any silly decisions. Try and retain the ball. Just keep your shape defensively, because if Hearts get a goal, it all changes. And I think the longer it goes, the Rangers are 2-0, Hearts will become a little bit frustrated.
Do you think there's a bit of mind games going on at the moment? Rangers still in there, Hearts out waiting?
Maybe, but I don't know. I think he's probably just making sure that he's getting his team right for the second half. It's very important for him to go out and make sure that they start the second half properly and don't go too defensive.
Michael, what a different dynamic now though, ahead of this second half.
Well, do you know, the interesting thing here is that this is a different situation for Robbie Nielsen. He's never been in a position where he's 2-0 down in the league and he's got to go and change something. Everything's been positive this year. This is a big test, and not to say he doesn't know what he's going to do, but he's going to have to do something.
OK, Lee Wallace, now captain. They emerge from the tunnel. Rangers finally back with us. So back over to your match commentators, Gary McAllister and Derek Ray.
Thanks very much, Darryl. There is Bilal Mosney, who will take the place of Haris Vucic, scorer of the second Rangers goal, defender for creative midfield player. Rangers were seemingly coasting. The dismissal of the Ibrox club's captain, Lee McCulloch, might just have them walking on eggshells this Easter weekend. Gennaro Zayfak and Osmondsor ready to get things going. Hearts playing towards their own supporters in that corner of the Broom Lone stand. It's a bit of a patchy first half display by the Jambos. They were outthought and outplayed by Rangers for long periods. They had a decent spell after the Kenny Miller goal. And that's 2-0 to Rangers. Well, you thought it's going to be difficult for the Ibrox club to throw this away, but the red card shown to Lee McCulloch has put a different complexion on events. There's Lee Wallace. And a corner immediately to Rangers. Gang.
Yeah, and again, it's the positive Lee Wallace. Rangers will go and play with 3 centre-halves. 4 across and the 2 up. Just thought Hearts were just a little bit cautious from the word go. Rangers have dominated in the corner count, dominated in possession. Now up to Hearts to go for it.
It's quite the delay, waiting for the Rangers players to return to the pitch. Hearts are out there for a good 3 minutes. Captained by Law initially. Mosney couldn't quite contort his body. There's gone Anil Öztürk. Station from Nicky Clark, but a free kick it is to Heart of Midlothian. Just run through the 2 teams for you again. McCulloch sent off. And it's Vučkić replaced by Bilal Mosney. Jamie Walker. It's Miguel Payado. His first season wearing the maroon shirt. He's very interested in extending his tie with the club. McCarthy all along the ground. Cammy Bell says, that's mine.
Yeah, there's got to be better quality when they get into the wide areas. I think we just saw there that little phase of play. That'll be familiar this half. Rangers just sinking off, allowing Hearts possession. It's up to Hearts to try and break Rangers down.
Shields and Miller went for it together. Shields very definitely coming off second best, still on the ground. The Hearts were trying to get into a groove, but play has been stopped.
I think he takes a knock in the back of the head from, yep, he's on player. It's Kenny Miller. He catches Dean.
So Shields ready to soldier on. So be a bit cross about that. They didn't have the ball. They're trying to advance.
And it's a head injury though, it needs to be stopped.
Just to take the common sense approach. Playing on or not been a big part of the narrative on this Easter Sunday here at Ibrox. Nicholson, an elaborate tumble. Here's Mosney. Kenny Miller, the idea was good as he tried to release Lee Wallace. Here's Jamie Walker for Hearts. To create a bit of room for himself. Walker beside the byline. Will be a Hearts ball.
It's Kenny Miller all the way back there defending.
Rangers immediately get the ball following the throw. Henderson, it's Clark, and it's Law. 10 against 11, remember. Just joined us here on BT Sport. Shields. Murdoch. Law. Shields. Next pass. Was never going to get there. McCarthy making sure of that.
Murdoch just asked a little bit too much of Law.
Miguel Payado, 28-year-old Spaniard, gives it to Anil Öztürk, Dutch-born but of Turkish parentage. Began his career at Groningen in the Netherlands before the move to Cambuur. Down goes Walker. Happy Madden blows his whistle. Gregor draped all over his opponent.
Oh, this is rash. There's no need to go through the back of Walker. He's running away from goal, running towards the main stand here. Just stay on your feet, allow him possession. Just gives Hearts the opportunity to deliver some quality into the box.
Jamie Walker, great nephew of the legendary Tommy Walker. Inside forward and a successful manager in their history. Here comes from Walker. Clark throwing himself up the ball. Gomes, good enough to keep it in. Concession of a throw by Shields. Patterson will hope for better luck with this throw. Sanderson back to Patterson. Again, no pressure on Cammy Bell.
That was a decent ball in from Patterson. Whipped it around Lee Wallace.
All the way forward, Nicky Clark is at the centre of the attack. Payada. So the depth flick to Jamie Walker. Gennaro Zafak. Thwarted. Rangers closed ranks. Now Nicky Clark. Stretch. Danny Wilson. Joining Wilson, Clark was essentially on his own.
Just trying to win a corner or a throw-in.
Callum Patterson, versatile. Gomes. It's Rabin, by the way, still with a toe injury. Patience here from the Jambos. So with Zafak, he'll try to put off Zaniukas. He keeps going to Gennaro Zafak. To bulldoze his way through. And the whistle didn't go.
Yeah, that's the appropriate word. Bulldoze through. Big physical presence there.
McCall just tending to a couple of tactical things. McCarthy with the throw. Gomes. Now Walker. Sam Nicholson seems to be on the run. Slices it.
Just tries to go and take it beyond Kenny Miller.
See the red on our graphic, ordering off of Lee McCulloch, and here's why.
Yeah, and as soon as you lead with the arms like that, it could have been dangerous.
Bobby Madden letting the play flow after that. That had been a feature of the first half exchanges, as we mentioned earlier, but then went back to the incident and dealt with McCulloch in the manner that he saw fit.
No, he had no other option. He played it well through there, gave the advantage.
Forward by Patterson. One just took off before So could get there. You might remember that after the fact, after the red card, this happened. Some of the Hearts supporters felt it should have been a penalty. I must say, I said in commentary, I wondered if the referee had pointed to the spot. It was a case of confusion reigning in the few seconds after that.
Yeah, there had been a few bodies lying around. It was another late challenge.
I must say it threw me just a little bit at the time. Robbie Nielsen, Hearts head coach, who doesn't know much about defeats in the Championship, just one suffered by Hearts this term. On the wrong end of the scoreline so far. Can they make their numerical advantage count? Gomes, they're trying to get close to him. Stolen through that time by Payano. McCarthy. Darren McGregor, his first season with Rangers. a spell in the juniors with Arniston Rangers before the move to Cowdenbeath, where he worked successfully under Danny Lennon. He got his transfer to St Mirren when Danny Lennon was in charge there. Stuart McCall now his boss at Rangers. But back in January, the winter weather, different story today, different picture altogether here in Govan. Danny Wilson.
With the spare man, if Hearts continues just to try and build up at this speed, it just allows Rangers to get bodies behind the ball. They just need to increase the tempo.
There's Turk. Patterson back to Gomes. Very much the vacuum cleaner of this Hearts midfield. Usually a pretty formidable Gomes-Wabin alliance. It's Payado beside Gomes today. Nicholson and Zeefuik. Dutchman taking aim. Gomes with the pass. Zeefuik. Wilson. McCarthy is trying to get goal side of Nicky Law. So he bursts away with the ball at his feet. Law for Rangers. Walker. Not much of an attempt to thwart him at the end. And it was there for Nicky Clark, and he does it.
That's a box-to-box run from Nicky Law. Skips away from Walker there, too easy. It's a good cutback here. Can he take a touch? Oh, he must take a touch. He's not aware that he's got loads of space there.
Robbie Neilson, Stuart McCall going about their business in the respective technical areas on this Easter Sunday. It's a fascinating battle of wits.
Loads of instruction being passed on to the pitch.
Billy King is going to be introduced by Robbie Neilson. So again, it was a breakdown in communication between So and Nicholson.
I don't think the pass was there for So to make.
So Billy King, 20-year-old, reborn, is about to come on. Clark leading the line for Rangers. Kenny Miller has become defender, midfielder, rolled into one. McCarthy. Find the right angle. It's left the boot in Kevin McCarthy. Bending Kenny Miller.
Kenny's up nice and quick there. To make Hattie out of trouble. Just overruns it. Kenny nicks it off him. Just catches him there.
Well, that was the confrontation that we spoke about earlier in the game at Tynecastle back in November. Ricardo Gomes is going to discover that his number is up. So a more defensive-minded midfield player will make way for an attacking one.
Gomes is, you know, at 0-0 in the early stages of the game. It was disappointing having Payardo didn't really conduct things in the middle of the park.
That's it for Gomes. On comes Billy King. As a substitute for the Scotland under-21s. Victory over Hungary. Started 5 of their last 6 matches prior to today for Hearts. McCarthy. So to Sam Nicholson on the left-hand side now. Behind to Jude, Nicky Law. The corner it is to Heart of Midlothian. Hearts made one of these set pieces count. Nicholson to deliver. Into the sunshine. All the way out to McCarthy. Mosney leaves it. It was a good decision.
Yeah, a couple of good pieces of work from Mosney. First with the clearing header, then a good decision just to duck underneath that one.
Talking it over, Stuart McCall. Kenny Black together at Motherwell. So far so good for Rangers on this Easter Sunday. Made it difficult for themselves though as a result of the red card given to McCulloch. Not sure you can really argue about that. Red, the colour thereof once you see it again.
No, absolutely. And it was a ball he just simply couldn't win either.
Here's Payada. Nicholson is in the clear. Brings it down immediately. Nicholson putting it back. No Hearts player able to snap onto it, however. King, Patterson. Jaliukas away for Rangers.
Nicholson who beat the offside trap. Just dragged it back behind all the Hearts attackers.
It's Payada. So then he had the title in the bag. Able to pile on the points. Patterson. Making the decision to go his way. Not to be. Robbie Nielsen's side chasing this game.
Vukic's goal here. It's clever play. Phil McHattie had to do a little bit more. Vukic getting into his favoured left foot.
The head of Payada. Spurs took. Right on top of Kenny Miller. Walker, Alexander, and now Wilson. There's good news this week about the new Hearts partnership with the Save the Children Fund. As a result of giving, both Hearts and the fund do well out of it. Over it comes and headed away. Headed behind by McGregor for the corner.
It's good covering work from McGregor.
Able to get onto the front foot quickly, Hearts that time. Nicholson to swing this in. Nicholson. Danny Wilson competing for the ball, corner again. This time from the right-hand side, says Bobby Madden.
Good physical presence, Wilson, Patterson, Soul.
King doing the honours. Danny Wilson was up. Öztürk tries to smash it. Sky did instead.
This time Öztürk comes right round the back, makes the run, gets himself free, sets himself. Good first touch. Just a bit wild his effort. Wilson does enough. Mosney with a good header. Did the hard bit well, but the finish was poor.
Kenny Miller, scorer of the opening goal. Right place, right time.
Middle of the goal, inside the 6-yard box. Just fields it into the net.
It's Miller with a scurry here. Wallace. 10 against 11. Just joined us on BT Sport. 10 men of Rangers. Lee McCulloch ordered off. And all the credit in the world has to go to Wallace. Chiseled the corner out of that. It's come off Patterson.
Very energetic, Lee Wallace. And that's when he's at his best. Up and down that left side.
Rangers know they've got to strain every sinew to the 3 points. They are to 10 men against such an able side. With it, and it was Kenny Miller who forced a fine stop from Neil Alexander.
Well, this arrives at Kenny Miller just at that awkward height, way up at his waist high. You see a really good angle here. This is quality technique. He's just gone wide.
Nicky Law again. Mosney trying to run behind Patterson. Solo on for Callum Patterson.
That's a strong defending from Patterson. Just takes it late as he flicks it away. Coming together the heads there.
Third corner in quick succession for Rangers. Law, taken by Kenny Miller, goes Patterson for Hearts, away by Payardo in the end. Law, it's on Payardo. Law, Payardo taking to his defensive duties. Jamie Walker, along the ground to Osman Sow. Kenny Miller reaching out, he's got tangled up. Lucas is keeping a weather eye on Zefak. Referee's going to go back. And caution Kenny Miller, I think, is he?
Yeah, there's a little kick out by Kenny there. Tried to stop So.
He had no chance of winning the ball, Kenny Miller. You can see that. Let the matter rest there.
Good strength by Sol, and there's the little kick out there. He tries to professional foul.
Billy King. Callum Patterson uses Danny Wilson. McCarthy slipped as he released the ball. Law. Well-defined Clark, Payardo, and only a mix-up between Payardo and Öztürk. Plenty of Gorgie grit throughout the season. Plenty of that in the closing stages of this game, Hearts, but they're enjoying the possession advantage, as you would expect, the numerical superiority.
The possession has just been a little bit laboured though. I don't think they've moved the ball quick enough to try and move Rangers out of their defensive shape.
Payardo for So, and Osman So tries to test Cammy Bell. A couple of changes to be made by Rangers. Ryan Hardy and Robbie Crawford will come on. Rangers have very high hopes for Ryan Hardy, 18-year-old. It's Clark, and he's going to stop running. And to Danny Wilson, thought that was all he could do, right in front of the Copland Road stand.
And again, Nicky Clark hunting and chasing, lost causes.
Nicky Law in no particular rush. It's got a pretty good reception, Nicky Law, from the Rangers supporters in that corner. Miller. Law. quick forward ball. Billy King in pursuit of it. Bell will get there. Able to shepherd it out of play. Rangers about to make those changes. There's going to be a yellow card here. Paddy Bell. Shrug of the shoulders from Bell. And Kenny Miller, one of the players to go off. Well, they've been very impressed, the Rangers supporters, with the work ethic today. Not to mention the finish for the opening goal.
Yeah, he gets himself in a good position, anticipates it well, and the finish, he doesn't try to put too much power, just deflects it into the net. Robbie Crawford, the forgotten man here at Rangers, back in favour. Kenny Bell booked for time wasting earlier. Mosney. There's Turk. Hasn't been quite dynamic enough from Hearts throughout this game, has it, Guy? No, as I said, it's the build-up slow. Rangers back into the shape. It's very difficult to break 8 players down if they're all disciplined, and Rangers have been disciplined today.
McCarthy's pass. That was there to be won. Obviously, feeling that time of Crawford, trying to make an impact off the bench.
Clark's got good legs, but he can't chase every single one.
McCarthy. King. There's Duke. It doesn't much matter to Hearts. They take a point or more from this game, but they have said they don't want to let up. The title's already been won. Healthy attendance here at Ibrox. 40,521.
Well, it's two of our biggest clubs. It's had that big game atmosphere right from the word go. That is very, very healthy crowd.
James Keatings to come on here for Hearts. Caleb McCarthy sees his watch end. James Keatings, who can be a lethal finisher, should give Hearts something a bit different in attack. He can explode onto the scene. Was showing for it, away by Mosney. Hearts can grab a goal, it surely would have the effect of setting up a furious finish on this Easter Sunday. Rangers in control at the moment. Wilson. Bayardo. Now King. Next to him, Jamie Walker. Adam Patterson, deflection there, means a corner.
It was patient from Hearts, but again, just a little bit slow in the build-up. They've won another corner. This is where Hearts have looked the most dangerous in the game, some set pieces.
So the beach ball evident. Quite frankly, a dreadful corner. Walker knows it.
Now he's looking at his studs here, he just tries to drive it. Trying to go for a straight driven ball. He just catches it heavy. A bit of energy boost needed. Osman Sow. Ian Black, the former Hearts player, is going to make an appearance on the bench for Rangers. Dean Shields being the man to go off. Nearly some life for Dean Shields, perhaps under Stuart McCall. Yeah, he was very determined today. He showed good legs, great attitude. Now he can be pleased with 75, 76 minutes. Ian Black on as a substitute for the third game on the spin. There's Nicky Law. Glide forward here for Rangers. There's Wilson for company. Murdoch. Law. Returning dwarfing Murdoch. Tigerish midfield player. Andy Murdoch. Worked away well. Most of the Hearts' threats have been nullified by Rangers. They've been well organised. There's Walker coasting into the centre forward position. So Patterson had played it over. Payardo, free kick. Clark didn't think so. Boost to Rangers' hopes of finishing second. A victory against the champions of the second tier would be. Robbie Nielsen giving words of wisdom to his captain Danny Wilson. It was finally taken by Nicholson. Just trying to press higher up the pitch again. Billy King. Goes Turk, and now King, and it's Ian Black doing the defending. Black just spotting the danger there. This time it'll be Billy King, it takes the corner. King with it, and Bell wasn't sure, it was Mosney tearing towards his own goalkeeper. Nicholson, high into the air, Bell, and again Mosney was right beside him. There's Walker. There's Mosney again to the rescue. Just Gary Bell just looked a little bit uncomfortable today. Hasn't really worked out for Zepak in this match. On his birthday, something to celebrate in style. Nicky Law, and he is fouled by Keatings. Respite for Rangers. Mosney and Bell just talking it over after the last couple of incidents. The way things have gone today, he's been invaluable as a sub. Mosney, having him on the bench today is a big plus for Stuart McCall. We're losing Lee McCulloch. He's headed it well, Mosney. Suspension forthcoming for Lee McCulloch. Just go to Palmerston on Thursday. It's a game you'll be able to see live on this channel. Crawford. Law. Rangers appealing for the free kick. Bobby Mann had thought about it for a second or two. He's given it. Law bringing his influence to bear. Scored for Rangers against Hearts in August. The equaliser near the end. Osman Sow was to have the last laugh. Winner. Taken by Law. Excellent free kick. Mosney was up there. Clark is trying to wriggle, and it's Crawford. And it's into the Kirtland Road end. Well, the obvious target is Mosney at the back post. He keeps it alive. And again, Nicky Clark fighting. Gets it back to Crawford, who just can't keep it down under the crossbar.
Patterson, Mosney cuts it out. Trying to get themselves onto the front foot. They have scored 19 league goals in the final 10 minutes of matches this season. So this is not in the bag for Rangers just yet. Jamie Walker with a twist and turn. Congested penalty area. It's Crawford. Succeeded in getting it away.
And it's the fresh legs of Crawford back there defending. The fatigue will start to set in for Rangers now. The 10 men as we get to this final 9 minutes.
The weight of armour and shield will tire even the strongest. There's Turk, and so was arriving Zefak on his birthday. The Dutchman has pulled one back for Hearts, and we might be in for quite the finale at Ibrox.
Yeah, we're just talking about fatigue. It's just a ball up to the back post towards Sol. It's a good save by Bell, but it's Zefak there for the striker's tap in. This comes in on the blind side of McGregor, and Zefak with the tap in.
25 today. Gennaro Zefak. Just 2-1. It's another goal in the final 10 minutes from this spirited Hearts team. Can they go and grab another one?
Rangers have got to be tiring. They're tiring. They've introduced fresh legs.
Danny Wilson, that's an excellent ball. King was going for it. Walker in there too. Mosney seemed to be close to the ball.
Did they just get in each other's way? The two of them were favourite.
Adam Patterson, that one takes off. Mosney put to the test.
He's caught by a long diagonal. Mosney. I just think there's a little misunderstanding between the pair of them. King and Walker there.
And Stuart McCall imploring his troops to stand strong. The Hearts song in the background. So the Rangers supporters have gone a bit silent in the aftermath of that goal from Gennaro Zefak. Ian Black. Nicky Law was available, so to Nicky Clark. Trying to burrow his way through. Clark has gone down. Law. Crawford. Inside the byline. Wilson did enough. Oh, it's Gallardo. Second pass, and it's Crawford. And it's away by Patterson. And it's all action stuff in the closing phase of this game. Billy King for Heart of Midlothian. Trying to veer in field. And cut down. Yellow card. It really had to be.
King just slipped back Black there. No surprises to see the yellow.
The former Hearts player. Keatings is at the controls. So many of the supporters there looking right into the bright sunlight. Keatings and Mosney got his head to it first. Öztürk. That'll be a Hearts throw. He's going to stand aside and let Nicholson take it. Sam Nicholson. By Payado. Nicky Clark is still struggling out there. We saw him go to ground just a minute or so ago. Walker. Patterson. There's Keatings. Skewed that a little bit, and it's come to Öztürk. It was by law, all hands on deck here for Rangers. 4 minutes of normal time remaining. Walker getting into a stride. Jamie Walker trying to fire it towards goal. Might have had it on the target. Gallardo, really known for his shooting prowess so much. Patterson, well, that's a couple in a row from him. It was kept in play expertly by Nicholson. He had a lot to do there, Sam Nicholson. Now Öztürk, and it was a far cry from the Öztürk special that we remember from Easter Road. A plethora of matches coming up from Scotland in the next few days on BT Sport. Motherwell St Mirren, crunch game near the foot of the Premiership. Rangers in action on Thursday against Queen of the South. It's also on BT Sport 1 in the Championship. Then back to the Premiership on Sunday. Kilmarnock against Aberdeen, 11:45. Aberdeen trying to make sure they finish second. I think that's realistic now. Gordon Strachan will be with us for that game. And tomorrow it's the SPFL Roundup show. All the goals and highlights from this Easter weekender. There's a sore one for Nicholson, black as well in the wars.
Just on his landing, Ian Black.
Stuart McCall has managed to pick things up at Ibrox. Certainly the mood has been lifted. Last couple of games. Ian Black hobbling on, still was able to give it to Nicky Law. Clark running out of space. Walker. It's going to be a goal kick. And 2 minutes left. Should have a fair chunk of added time. Gallardo. Walker. Who have tasted defeat just once in the Championship this season. It was against Falkirk, trailing here. Rangers have put so much into the game with 10 men for a large slice of it. Murdoch. Could he outrun Wilson? There's the answer. And the decision goes Hearts' way. I can tell you Stuart McCall and Kenny Black are livid.
Andy Murdoch just pulled on the shoulder of Wilson. He goes there. Yeah, there's the little infringement there.
Final minute now of the 90. Walker. Stumble by, so it's Wilson. And it's Gallardo, and he has a go. Mosney, away tidily enough. Öztürk. Clark has Alim Öztürk for company. Rangers look to click into gear. Walker's challenge, it was a good one apparently. Now Wilson, Mosney. He's doing his job out there.
Oh, he's been a beacon, Mosney. He's been excellent. Big physical presence. The 10 men. Rangers.
Ian Black will take the ball played to him. He's picked up a couple of knocks. Minimum of 4 added minutes, Gary.
All the subs have been used.
What can Hearts throw at Rangers in added time at the end of the game? Zayfak. Stuart McCall was asking the question, why 4 minutes? Why as many as 4? Öztürk. Might not mind seeing him shoot from there with this track record. Walker. King. Time is of the essence in this game for Heart of Midlothian. There's Turk. Walker. Billy King. Zafak. Worked something with Patterson. Callum Patterson got the shot on. And it's away by Ian Black. The chase now for Nicky Clark. There's Turk. Lumps it forward. Mosney away. Strong header.
Real backs to the wall stuff here. Wave after wave of attack.
Tony Wilson up there. And so might have felt the pain. Jamie Walker. Tried to carry the load. There's a goal kick. He stayed on his feet. And time is running out for Hearts.
I think Lee Wallace did well to stay on his feet as well. Walker tries to just go on the outside of Wallace. Could he have been down there? No, there was no contact.
Well, the Hearts supporters been in celebratory mood for most of the season, but it will be a reverse today against Stuart McCall's Rangers. And my goodness, Rangers knew they needed the points before a ball was kicked in anger. Hibs have gone off the boil quite visibly. Rangers rediscovering the winning habit, but a free kick here to Hearts. It's not quite over yet.
Zafak getting involved in loads of challenges here.
Gallardo will be the man to strike it. "93 minutes and counting at Ibrox. All the heavy artillery in there, and it just works its way back to Cammy Bell. McGregor was ushering it back. Law.
McGregor was relieved to see Cammy Bell come and take charge there.
One last chance for Hearts to launch it forward. Osman So, quite located. Has it again. Space opening up for Walker. Jamie Walker after the referee and wave play on. So was on the ground. Now that's going to be a Rangers free kick. That might very well be the end of the story. Ian Black being helped back up onto his feet.
Yeah, there's the little altercation on Black. Again, another good block from Mosney.
It's a win for Rangers that could do so much for the push for second. Hearts defeated for only the second time in the Championship this term. Rangers had to do it the hard way, playing without their captain, Lee McCulloch, for more than 50% of the game. McCulloch sent off. There was a late Hearts rally, but the goals for Rangers in the first half, with Kenny Miller and Harris Vučkić coming up trumps, doing the trick. Zafak's late consolation goal for the Jambos. Rangers 2, Hearts 1.
Derek Gary, many thanks. Stuart McCall will be delighted that Rangers got over the line there. It was nervy at the end after Lee McCulloch saw reds. We're back with Rangers this Thursday. They head to Palmerston, Queen of the South, v the Jars. It's 7:30 p.m. on BT Sport 1. Championship table is starting to look a little bit better now for the Jars. They are in control of second spot now. That race for the playoffs and the runners-up spot means 2 games less, 3 points ahead of Hibs, and another game in hand as well still to come. So a happy day for all the Rangers fans. Kenny Miller had them ahead before Harris Vučkić made it 2. And our full review with all our guests is coming up next. Ibrox today, it ended Rangers 2, Hearts 1. Stuart McCall's men were ahead courtesy of Kenny Miller. Haris Vučkić added a lovely second. That was before captain Lee McCulloch saw red. Moment of madness from the centre-back to give Hearts a lifeline, and it was one that they almost took. Gennaro Zeepauk got one back. Hearts could not complete the comeback though. Reaction now. Nicky Law is with Mark Guidi.
Nicky, great 3 points for Rangers today.
Yeah, huge 3 points. We know obviously yesterday when Hibs had lost, there was a great opportunity for us to stamp our authority on second place, and I thought we were brilliant today, and I thought we thoroughly deserved that win.
How good does it feel to have second spot in your own hands, considering where you were a few weeks ago?
Oh, it's huge. As you say, it looked very difficult 2 or 3 weeks ago, but obviously the new manager's come in and he's kind of re-galvanised everyone and got everybody going again, and now we feel we're hitting form now heading into such a huge important part of the season.
Before he got the job, you championed Stuart McCall to be given a crack at it. Has he made the impact you thought he would?
Yeah, definitely. As I say, people asked me about him before he got the job, and I had nothing but good things to say about him, and I'm sure if you asked everybody in that changing room, they'd tell you the same thing now, having worked with him for the last 2 or 3 weeks. He's been fantastic for us, and now, as you say, he's a huge part in obviously the turnaround we've had in the last few weeks.
Thanks very much. You had the BT Sport man of the match. Well done, Nicky. Cheers.
Thank you.
He had a really good day. Rangers had a good day, and Stephen, I know you used to play with him. He looks like a different man at the moment, Nicky Law.
You know, Stuart used to work with us at BT, Darryl, and he always said that, you know, Nicky needed to add a little bit more to his game. He needed to be more direct in possession, take more risks, you know, show more energy, like he did at Motherwell. And I think he's now starting to do that at Rangers. You know, Nicky enjoys working under him, and I think his performance today, you know, completely showed that.
And again, you can see the progress that Stuart McCall has made in recent times. 3 wins in a row.
Yeah, it's been fantastic, and I think just the performance he done today, it speaks for itself. You know, maybe 10 men mostly the whole second half of the game. They came out on top anyway against the Hearts team, who's been champions and been fully deserved being champions. I think it's proved that he's come in and done a good job.
Rangers started really well in the game. They were pressing high, weren't they? And when Kenny Miller put them ahead, it was no real surprise, Gary.
No, it wasn't a surprise at that stage of the game. You know, Rangers were well on top. And again, Lee Wallace, you know, I thought he showed his qualities today. You know, a fantastic left back, gets forward really well. It's a great cross into the box and a great finish for Kenny Miller.
Excellent finish, Michael, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And obviously, you know, we were talking about Kenny Miller starting to move there, and he gets himself into the box to finish it off. And you know, Rangers exploiting the wide area there. They got the 2v1, and it was a great ball from Lee and a well finished from Kenny Miller.
And it got better as well, didn't it? Haris Vučkić with the second.
Well, it did, you know, and you thought Rangers probably needed a second goal. You know, Hearts are always going to be a threat, but you know, when you're on top and you feel as if you're playing well as a team, Darryl, you have to try and capitalise. I think young Kevin McCarrick, you know, Michael said at half time, he has to understand Vučkić is left footed. You've got to get him outside. You cannot allow him to come inside and open the full goal up.
Peter, you'd have been happy with that finish, that left foot in the old days. And then this happened though, and the whole game changed, didn't it, just before half time. Lee McCulloch, the captain, saw red. You all said before, didn't you, that he deserved to be sent off. It's not a good moment for him.
No, not at all. And I think Lee McCulloch, when he comes out afterwards and sees the game, sees the challenge himself, he'll know himself that he shouldn't have done that. And it's a 100% red card, and he can't complain about it, to be fair. But he's let his team down. But in the end, the team pulled through though.
It's an absolutely horrible moment for the captain. I can't imagine Stuart McCall would have been overly delighted with him. Let's hear from Stuart McCall. Overall, happy day though. He's with Mark Guidi.
Stuart, a great 3 points for you today, 2 well taken goals.
Yeah, terrific spirit in the end, obviously going down to 10 men. Played a lot of the game, and I thought the endeavour, the energy. But in the first half, good football as well, and 2 really good goals. So great day's work for us against a top class Hearts side. So nice to hear the supporters singing and dancing, and I've got to say halfway through it I got goosebumps myself there, because it's nice to see Ibrox almost full and the support right behind the players, and they deserve that today.
Lee McCulloch was sent off. What did you make of that?
Hand on my heart, I've not seen it. I asked Bobby coming off and he says he's caught him. I've just bumped into Jig there to apologise to the team. And he says he has caught him, unintentionally, but he's caught him. So I have not seen it, but I take it the red card was correct.
Considering you were down to 10 men, you must be very proud of your players the way they dug in.
Yeah, terrific. It needs a lot of energy about the team there, because Hearts keep it, they move it quickly, they've got good experienced players, they're playing on top of the game. So the shift they had to put in was outstanding, and you know, I said there's no better place how to win when you're an underdog, and we were certainly underdog second half, and it was outstanding performance by them.
Well done, Stuart.
Cheers, thank you.
This place does feel very different at the moment. He said he got goosebumps. I guess today he really felt what it was like to be a Rangers manager at a big moment.
Yeah, he deserves all the credit going, Stuart. You know, he's came in and as Nicky Law says here, he's galvanised the team, and they're playing with a far better spirit. You know, they're moving the ball really well, and I thought Nicky Law summed up Rangers' performance today. It was high energy. You know, they pressed Hearts high up the pitch. Obviously, they went down to 10 men, but you know, they dug in as a team and probably over the piece deserved the 3 points.
After, of course, Lee McCulloch was sent off, though, it was nervy at the end, wasn't it, Michael? Hearts were coming. We expected them to come, and Zayfout got them back into it.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the few occasions where Hearts actually got a good, decent ball into the box, and you know, Osman So's a great player if you want to get balls into the box and challenge in the air. Zayfout taps into them, but Hearts didn't exploit those areas enough in the second half when they were playing against 10 men, especially with Rangers playing 3 at the back. Get the ball wide and get cross into the box, and they didn't do that.
Do you think it took them too long to start creating chances like that in the match?
Well, it took them too long to get the goal. You know, Robbie would probably have said at half-time, you know, can we get an early goal in the second half? Can we put them under pressure? You know, he made a substitution. So was on, and King was on, Walker was on. He probably too many attacking players, all taking up each other's space, and they couldn't find that little pocket of space we're looking for.
We wondered actually at the start how Hearts would approach this today. Already champions. What did you make of them overall, Gary?
I thought Hearts did okay today, as the boys have said there. If they'd scored a little bit earlier, then you know, they might have finished the game and possibly got an equaliser. But when they got into wide areas, they didn't put enough quality into the box. And you've got 2 strikers, you know, the size that Hearts have got. The delivery for the wider areas has got to be better.
All the credit though must go to Rangers today, despite the fact that Hearts are the champions. We wondered about the mentality, but it is about Rangers this afternoon.
100%. I spoke to the boys as well during the game, and you know, the way Rangers started was absolutely fantastic.
Excuse me, Peter, let me just cut you off quickly. This could be interesting. Let's hear from Lee McCulloch in the tunnel.
Lee, you were sent off today. Can you talk us through the decision and what happened?
Well, I felt as if I was caught in no man's land, sort of. If he won the header, there would have been a runner in. There was no intent whatsoever. I can say that honestly, but obviously I'm disappointed. But the bigger picture is the boys get 3 points today. It was a great day for the fans, for the players, and we're keeping the momentum going. And I think that's all that matters now.
You've apologised to your teammates and the management, though.
Yes, of course I have apologised to all the management, all my teammates. I feel as if I've let myself down, but as I say, the big positive today is it's a great result for the fans, and the boys dug in, showed great character, and I'm delighted with that.
And just in terms of the bigger picture for yourself, Lee, you are out of contract, and I take it you want to stay here?
Of course I want to stay here, yeah. Big part to play, I feel, for the run-in and get the club back to where we want to be.
Thanks, Lee.
Thank you, cheers.
Fair play to him. Stephen Gerrard sent off recently and he came out and spoke after the game. Lee McCulloch has done that today. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. It is a really good day for Stuart McCall and for Rangers. And don't forget, stay with us. European football shows coming up next with Lindsay Hipgrave and Owen Hargreaves. Back-to-back games from the Bundesliga. Enjoy them. Bye-bye for now.